So let's talk about building a morning checklist that actually works. We're going to move way beyond those super ambitious, kind of impossible routines you see all over social media. Instead, we're going to create something practical, something backed by science, and, most importantly, something that works for you. Let's dive in.
Does this sound familiar? You wake up, you've got all these great intentions, but by the end of the day, you're looking back and wondering, where did the time go? Well, according to the LSC Business Review, you are not alone. It's this really common feeling of daily chaos that leaves us wondering what we even accomplished.
And here's a huge reason why. Get this. Studies show that a whopping 68% of professionals check their phones within just 5 minutes of waking up. Think about that. You're immediately jolting your brain into a reactive, stressed out mode. Your day gets derailed before you've even had a chance to put your feet on the floor.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down the morning problem. Then, we'll get into the cool science of why routines are so powerful. After that, we'll build your very own morning checklist, talk about how to make those new habits actually stick, and finally, we'll wrap up with how you can design your perfect day.
All right, let's start by tackling exactly why our mornings can feel so, well, hectic and unproductive. It really all comes down to a battle for your brain's most precious and limited resource, its energy.
So, the big idea here is automation. Our brains just love it. When you have a solid routine, things like getting dressed or making breakfast happen on autopilot, right? That saves up so much mental energy. But the moment that routine gets broken, your brain has to consciously think through every little step, and that just drains your mental battery, leaving you with way less power for the stuff that truly matters. And as the research shows, you end up feeling way less engaged with your day.
Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. It's time to pivot and explore the really cool science that makes a structured start to your day so incredibly effective. At the very core of all of this is something called the habit loop. It's a simple, 3-step pattern that our brains run on. First, there's the cue. That's the trigger, like your alarm going off. Then comes the routine. That's the action, like immediately putting on your workout clothes. And finally, the reward, that feeling of accomplishment or the burst of energy you get. This simple loop is the absolute foundation for building any productive, automatic behavior.
And the payoff for building these loops? Oh, it is huge. And we're talking about way more than just feeling good. This is about giving yourself a real, measurable biological edge. You get a circadian advantage, which means you're working with your body's natural morning spike in cortisol, the hormone that makes you feel alert. It also prevents decision fatigue. I mean, think about it. Barack Obama famously only wore blue or gray suits just to save his mental energy for the big stuff. And those little wins early in the morning, they build psychological momentum that carries you through the entire day.
And hey, here's another layer of science for you. According to neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman, one of the most powerful things you can do is get just 10 minutes of morning sunlight. It's like the master switch for your body's internal clock. It tells your brain, hey, it's time to be awake and focused, and believe it or not, it even helps you sleep better that night.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's get practical. We're going to call this a checklist, but I want you to think of it more like a menu of awesome, high-impact options that you can pick and choose from. This is not some rigid one-size-fits-all prescription. This is about building what works for you.
You know, the absolute key here is to start small. Research from the London School of Economics actually suggests finding just one simple, predictable anchor for your morning. For a lot of us, that's just making the first cup of coffee. That single, stable, predictable action can become the rock-solid foundation that you build everything else on.
Now, if you're looking for a really powerful, kind of pre-built framework, you have to check out Robin Sharma's 20-20-20 formula. It's such an elegant way to structure your first hour. You start with 20 minutes of movement, and we're talking vigorous exercise to boost dopamine and lower stress. Next up, 20 minutes to reflect. That could be journaling, meditating, whatever gives you mental clarity. And finally, 20 minutes to grow. Read a book, listen to a podcast, anything that helps you learn. It's balanced, it's effective, it's just a fantastic way to start. And to really emphasize that reflect part, I absolutely love this quote. Journaling isn't about writing the next great novel. It's about clearing out all the mental clutter, the worries, the to-do lists, all that noise. It's like taking spiritual windshield wipers to your brain so you can see the day ahead with perfect clarity.
Looking for a few more quick ideas to add to your checklist? Here you go. Hydrate the second you wake up. Prime your mindset with gratitude. Please, please, please resist checking your phone for at least 15 minutes. And this one's cool. Just smile. Seriously, the physical act of smiling can actually trigger your brain to release dopamine and serotonin. It's a free mood boost. And your routine can do more than just help you. It can be good for the planet too, which adds this whole other layer of purpose to your morning. Integrating simple, sustainable swaps is an easy win. Trading a plastic toothbrush for a bamboo one, or using a reusable coffee cup. These are small changes that make a positive impact and set a really mindful tone for your day.
All right, so we know what to do. But now for the hard part, right? How do we actually make these new habits stick around for good? So let's shift from the what to the how and look at the science of making it last.
So here's the thing you have to remember. Habit formation is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Research tells us it takes about 66 days, broken into 3 phases. The first 22 days or so are the hardest. That's the destruction phase, where you're literally breaking old patterns. But if you can just push through that, you get to integration, and that's when the new routine starts to feel totally natural, totally automatic.
And this right here might be the single biggest secret to success. A successful morning routine doesn't start in the morning. Nope, it starts the night before. By laying out your workout clothes, prepping your breakfast, whatever it is, you eliminate those morning decisions and make it almost effortless to just follow through.
Okay, let's bring this all home. This was never just about having a better morning. This is about you becoming the architect of your entire day. And when you control your day, you start to transform your life.
This quote from Hal Elrod just says it all, doesn't it? When you have focused, productive mornings, they lead to focused, productive days. And a string of those days creates an amazing life. It all starts in that very first hour.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Don't try to change everything all at once. Just based on everything we've talked about today, what is the one small, simple change you will commit to making tomorrow morning? Because that right there is where it all begins. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, let's build the perfect morning checklist. It's the secret to owning your day. And Hal Elrod really hit the nail on the head here. Your morning sets the tone for your entire life. That sound, for so many of us, it kicks off a day of just reacting. But what if you took control? Think about this. 68% of us check our phones almost immediately. Talk about starting the day with stress. And when that routine is off, your brain just burns through energy. You feel exhausted before you've even started. The fix? A structured routine. It's all about working with your brain to save focus for what matters. Okay, so here's the science behind it. The habit loop. It's a simple pattern that runs every single habit. It's a simple 3-parter. First the cue, then your routine, and finally the reward that makes it stick. And what's really cool, your body is already primed for this. That morning cortisol peak is your natural alert button. So what does this look like? Well, it's not a rigid schedule. Think of it as your own personal toolkit. First up, the mind. Simple things like journaling or meditating set a calm, focused tone for the day. Next, your body. You'd be surprised what a little stretching and a glass of water can do. Need a framework? A lot of people love the 20-20-20 formula. It covers all your bases in just 1 hour. And here's a super simple one. Try to get 10 minutes of morning sun. It's amazing for your sleep. And hey, your routine can even help the planet. Simple swaps can make a surprisingly big impact. Now, a heads up, this doesn't happen overnight. On average, it takes 66 days for habit to stick. Let's break down those 66 days. It happens in 3 phases, from feeling really hard to totally automatic. To make sure you stick with it, avoid these common traps. Remember, consistency beats perfection every single time. And hey, you're in good company. From Ben Franklin to today's top performers, morning rituals are key. Ultimately, the goal isn't to copy someone else. It's to build a routine that's powerful for you. So the question is, what's the one small step you'll take tomorrow to start designing your perfect day?